Our next movement is an arch and curl, but with the first piece that we did added in, so it becomes a diagonal arch and curl. So once again, you come down onto your back on the floor. And we're going to start by letting the left knee fall out. So you can do this in whichever way that you like, whether it's just the knees falling across or lightening up the pressure of that left foot. That feels like it really helps you get there in a supporting of ease. And at the same time, you're going to bring the diagonal shoulder and arm up, so in this case the right one, and place that hand somewhere where it's comfortable. It can be somewhere up by your head, under the nape of your neck, or even cupping the back of your head is fine. So as this left knee goes across and you get that weight going into this shoulder, now let your head fall across to the right and the elbow start to find its own comfort of coming down toward the floor, but solely in a way that allows you to feel into the shoulder blade more. So it doesn't force or try to open, but just really to help you emphasize the feel of connection between your head rotating to the right and the elbow coming down, that you kind of drop into the support of the floor like that, while the left leg drops out a bit and you feel that connection between the left hip and the right shoulder. Holding for 5 to 10 seconds and just letting that ease out so it comes back to neutral. Now take that hand away and I'll get you to come across and try the same thing on the other side. So in this case, your left hand comes up somewhere behind your head. So you start with the right knee falling across, perhaps lightening the pressure of that right foot a little bit on the floor so that you really get it to drop into that right hip, and then your head falls across to the left, and your elbow goes with it until you get pressure in both the right hip and the left shoulder. And just feel how that arch diagonally moves from the hip across to the shoulder now instead of straight up the spine, and just let yourself feel into that. Get the feel of it and then just ease back off again. So that's the arching part of this diagonal arch and curl. Now let's come back to the right hand, shoulder and head again. And this time we're going to go into the right shoulder, let the left knee fall off, get that diagonal arch and curl moving in there, let it hold for a minute. So this is all the same as we've done previously. And then ease back out of it. And now what I'm going to get you to do is two things. One, we'll start with the upper body, which is you're going to bring that elbow and head across center line. And as you come across center line, you'll get more of the weight into the shoulder. So you just follow that slight lifting of weight with the of the right shoulder, so that it really brings you up and diagonally this way. And just find the path of ease where you just come from that place of being way across to the right, follow the arc of the elbow coming across center, and then just slightly lifting that shoulder off the floor. So that's the upper body part of it. And at the same time, your knee on the left side, and at the same time, your left leg starts to come across toward the right. And as it comes across toward the right, you help it come a little bit off by just lifting behind your thigh. Just a very gentle kind of thing, and then coming back. So together, it looks like this. You come across with your upper body coming across, you come across with your lower body coming across. It's almost like a diagonal sit-up, except you're just doing it to kind of get the feel of how your body twists, and that you've got a little bit more weight coming into that right hip as the left hip lifts, and a little bit of weight coming into the left shoulder as your right shoulder lifts. You just hang out there, just feel the connection across the front of your body, and then slowly come back down to the ground, and then you might give yourself a chance to just go back into the diagonal again of the arch, into that right shoulder, into that left hip. And play with that several times. You can, of course, alternate it by coming to left shoulder, right hip, letting the hip leg fall out so you get weight into that left shoulder, letting the hip and leg fall out till you get that weight into that right hip, and your head comes across to the left until you get weight into that left shoulder. That's the arching part, and now we're going to start to come across with that elbow, across center line, and as you start to lift that left shoulder off the ground a bit, then you also come with your hand behind that right knee or right thigh, and you just do a little bit of a counter lifting that takes that right hip off the ground a bit and that left shoulder blade off the ground a little bit more, and then just gently letting it down. So that's the diagonal arch and curl, and you can see it just takes the feel of the arch and curl in the spine and now puts it together with that focus on the shoulders that we had with that first introductory movement.